That's carried.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, 15, the proposal to establish a new development contributions rebate scheme for Papakāi developments. So, Shane, I would invite you to the table along with Gavin, and maybe just to start by explaining some of the background to this and, between Shane and Gavin, the background to it, why we've got the paper in front of us that we have and what's led to that, and then Gavin, what we're seeking to achieve through this as well. Thank you.
Do I start?
Yep.
Ia ka nui, ia ka rahi, tēnā koutou, ka nui te mihi kia koutou. Good afternoon. So this DC rebate scheme relates specifically to Papakāi Kāinga Nohoanga development on Māori reserve land only, and pertains only to Māori land owners. You will recall that this paper came through mid-April and it was put to one side, and councillors asked for a workshop which we held 2 weeks later, and we brought in the Māori Land Court to help broaden councillors' understanding of new legislation that becomes effective on the 1st of July this year, but also a broader understanding of some of the historical reasons around enabling Māori to develop their land and whether previously be constrained. So just to reconfirm, it focuses only on Māori reserve land, primarily on the peninsula at Rapaki, Onuku, Wairewa and Kokorarata. It's really important to remember those 4 areas because only one of them is serviced by council with council infrastructure. And that will give you a bit wider understanding of why there won't be a big rush for development across the other 4 reserves, because without infrastructure they cannot develop their land, or they need to look at alternatives. So really whilst there is positivity for all of the 4 areas, it really is only going to affect Rapaki in the first instance, where we would expect to see any major developments. And even then, when we're talking major developments, we're probably only talking about 15 to 20 houses in the next sort of 5 to 10 years. That's our sort of best estimate. Approving this rebate today, if you choose to do so, is one small component of removing one of the many related barriers that Māori have encompassed for 181 years primarily. And that's something I do not want to lose emphasis on. It aligns with the direct intent from Crown, which is both intimated and written in legislation to enable Māori to develop their land both economically and socially. Papakāi developments provide a whānau-based environment, social housing, a whānau-based environment for Māori to look after their own. It is a social housing rebate. The rebate actually only applies to residential, so there is no commercial activity within this rebate, just to reinforce that. Notwithstanding the introduction of this rebate, if you choose to do so, there are still many other hurdles that Māori will encounter in developing their land. Another reason why we think it will take some time for many Māori landowners to move ahead. But it is one step in the right direction. It is one step that meets the Crown intent, and it is one step that is the right thing to do. After that, I'm going to hand over to Gavin, but if you've got any queries, I'm happy to answer them afterwards.
Gavin.
So, as Shane mentioned, the Local Government Rating of Whenua Māori Act has introduced some expectations on Council to use through its Development Contributions Policy to support the preamble of the Te Ture Whenua Act. So those are, in essence, to support Māori to live on and utilise and enjoy their land. The Council's got an opportunity here to introduce something that's very simple, very cost effective, and that with the other initiatives the Council is undertaking has the potential to enable development of that land by the people who own the land. The mechanism itself, as I say, is simple and straightforward and can be introduced very quickly.
Thank you. So, Leanne, you're happy to move. Mike will second. Excellent. Are there any questions on this? Any debate? All those in favour say aye. Against? That's carried.
Mauri ora kia koutou. I'm really pleased that you've made this decision. It's a bold move, and I acknowledge that, and it is a step in the right direction. Kia ora.
Kia ora.